own rental property, when in the past that just really hasn't been the case at all. And I think, Mark, you've been in this business a long time like me, and I've never seen it this good from that perspective.
Well, no, and I remember even in the 70s, even though I was a teenager in the 70s, but that was, my dad was in real estate investment and development and such, and that's when the first kind of wave of seriously high appreciation started to happen in California.
Right.
And I think after that, you just really it never made sense to buy California real estate for rental income. And so we are truly in a unique environment now where rents have followed basically inflation all this time, and hasn't gone down, whereas as you said, we've got now housing prices that are somewhere in the high 1990s.
Yeah, in fact, this article points to that. It says, in real terms, all appreciation in the 2000s and more is gone. So essentially what they're saying is we're back to 1999 or 2000 prices. And if you recall, there was a run-up in prices in 1990 to 1993, remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then there was another run-up in 2002 through 2004. Well, if you reset prices all the way back to 1999 levels, you essentially wiped out the entire 2000s. But what's interesting is we've gone back and looked at the properties that we've been buying, and we've looked in the history to see when did this house last sell and how much did it sell for when it last transacted, and what about the time before that, and what about the time before that, and then we compare that to how much we paid for the house. And what we found, a number of examples where we've bought houses for less than that house sold for in 1987.
Wow.
And so now you've wiped out 23 years of house price appreciation and reset all the way back to that level.
I've never asked you this question, but when you rent out the houses, how much of a deposit generally can you get from your renters?
Well, the law says you can only collect a deposit equivalent to 2 months worth of rent. So if it's $1,000 a month rent, you can collect a $2,000 security deposit, or you could collect a $1,000 security deposit and $1,000 last month's rent.
Yeah.
No matter how you word it, you can't take more than 2 months.
But are you finding that people can come up with that money?
Yeah, yeah, we are. I mean, let's look at what's going on out there in the world. How long have people been going without paying for housing at all?
Yeah.
A lot of people have quite a bit of money saved up.
So you're not buying those mansions where the rent's $5,000 a month, and
right, or the house that costs $700,000 but still only rents for $3,500. No, we're not in that market. We're in the $125,000 that rents for $1,400 type of a market.
What I thought was interesting from that Case-Shiller report was, and a little bit disturbing, is that they're certainly not willing to call a bottom to the market. And I know this is a nationwide.
I'll call it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked at last week's show about in the Bay Area that, at least from what I'm seeing and from my own vantage point as someone who makes a lot of loans to a lot of real estate investors, I don't see further depreciation in pricing, at least not at the entry-level and mid-level market. Maybe on the higher end, which has been the San Francisco, certain markets in San Francisco or Tiburon or Hillsborough, or where prices are in the multiples of millions. That's one thing, because that market still isn't moving quite as fast. But in the market where most people are playing, I certainly am seeing a stabilization of prices. I don't know if you are too.
I am absolutely seeing a stabilization of prices. In fact, in the bottom market tier, even a little bit of price increase over the last 3 or 4 months. The upper price bracket and the secondary move-up market still a little bit soft. But I'll tell you this: I just got back from Chicago, and I had some personal meetings with some of the brightest real estate minds in the country. These are the guys that are running the multi-billion-dollar funds. And in talking with these guys, it's very interesting. They certainly do believe that the real estate market is sitting at a bottom right now, and these are some of the smartest guys you're going to find out there. So, and I tend to agree with them.
Well, and then you've got the Phoenix market, which guys I know who are investing there have told me prices are going up.
Prices are up, yeah, that's true. Prices are going up in Phoenix of all places. Vegas, not yet, but watch out. It'll
I know,
happen.
there's so much inventory.
There
Well,
is.
and then, I think some of the little markup in pricing that you mentioned that you're starting to see in the lower end, I think part of that is a factor of we're still really waiting for the banks to just start opening the spigots and letting out some of that pent-up inventory back on the market. And
Yeah.
maybe they're smarter than I am and figuring, well, let's create that demand, let's wait for the prices to uptick a little bit and we'll release more.
You know what they're doing? They're waiting for that big capital source. These guys, like the guys I was talking to get their money ready to put out in the market to absorb that inventory, and that's about to happen.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Joel, thanks for joining us in the studio.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And here are our thoughts for the day. I must not have been a very good parent because when the kids were little, I gave them some brandy to help them fall asleep. Come 5 o'clock the next day, they started to ask when we were having happy hour again. And then also when they were little, I was so cheap that I told them every time they heard the sound of the bell for the ice cream truck, that meant that they were out of ice cream. I better take some parenting classes, I'll tell you.
I thought you told them to run in front of the truck.
Right. Then I wouldn't have to buy ice cream.
See, you weren't so bad after all, were you?
Okay, I like that. All right, and as a side note, our play, The Living Last Supper, has been canceled, unfortunately. So don't show up April 1st at Valley Baptist in San Rafael at 6 p.m. or you'll be by yourself. Go there at 9 a.m. for regular church instead, okay? And tune in next week to the Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away 9 more free vacations for answering trivia questions. And Bruce Robbie from his company is going to be on our show. And he's going to be talking about the stock market and other financial investment vehicles. And thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. So long.